Welcome to the ZenEnergy Podcast, where we unify the theoretical knowledge of Zen with real-life application of wisdom and compassion, so that one may live in the here and now with clarity and altruism. Welcome to episode 25 of the ZenEnergy Podcast. This is Diana Zen, your host and the founder of the ZenEnergy Organization. Episode 25 is about perception and how our subjective interpretation of our surrounding influence the present moment. We are rarely completely engaged in the present moment and in our daily tasks, as our awareness becomes muddled by the constantly distracted thought flow. The sensory information we experience often triggers our stored memories associated with the senses. For better or for worse, food is the most often intertwined with our emotions. I would like first to share with you my story about ice cream. Ice cream, the magical dairy treat. Ice cream is a magical food. Eating a scoop of ice cream always transports me to a sunnier, happier place. I have such positive connection to ice cream, since there are so many carefree, happy childhood memories associated with ice cream. I remember my parents bringing home a rectangular carton box of Foremost brand ice cream in my childhood as a special treat. For years, I always thought Foremost was synonymous with ice cream. After dinner, I remember going out for dessert with my parents and enjoying coconut ice cream served inside a coconut. I thought it was such a clever and pretty presentation, and it was definitely an extra treat eating the coconut flesh once I finished the ice cream. I have always loved Nestle ice cream on a stick, since it brings back loving memories of my dad buying me one whenever we go to the movie theater. I remember our family always having hazelnut ice cream in the freezer when we were living in Europe, and us coming home to ice cream after a day of sightseeing. For me, there are always some happy, joyous family childhood memories connected with ice cream. Thus, ice cream is not only a delicious treat, but is also a time machine for me. This week, I took my parents out and about, spending quality time together, and also stopping by a new Danish ice cream parlor for a midday pick-me-up. We tried all the flavors and gravitated toward hazelnut. My dad also loved the lemon sorbet, since it reminded him of the handmade lime sorbet he enjoyed as a little boy. Everything in life has emotional significance when a positive or a negative memory is attached to it. Everything in life is innately neutral and become altered for better or worse based on one's perception. If we are able to recognize our own bias, we can alter our perception of reality and finally see everything clearly and objectively. Our perception is a combination of the gathered awareness and our mind's subjective interpretation of the information. The present can only be fully acknowledged when we have complete vision of both ourselves and the world around us. Perception. Our perceptions are perpetually influenced by our past. As we navigate through life, using our senses and subjectively interpret the sensory information, our impressions are never truly accurate. Both the positive and negative impressions hinder our ability to experience the actual event as it is happening. Our perception is a combination of the gathered awareness and our mind's subjective interpretation of the information. As we engage with the outer world, awareness streams inwardly through our physical body via the sensory organs. The data gathered through our physical receptive organs becomes our perceptions. Our cumulative physical awareness and perception are continually gathered into the aggregate memory storehouse of the collective consciousness stream. The information from the mind awareness are processed through the mind consciousness, and we form a response to the outer world based on our interpretation of the information. The mind conscious is the mediator that determines our inner response to the outer circumstances. While it is in a dualistic state, the mind conscious is named mana, also known as the dualistic mind or the ego mind. We do not wholly live life as it is happening around us. We each have our own individualized preferences and aversions rooted in our past. The physical awareness is continually influenced by the mind's narrative. Our mind constantly engages with the outer world using its subjective filters. While our mind interprets the changing life landscape using biased impressions rooted in the past, the present moment commingles with our reminiscence and recollections. Living within the mind's duality, we continue to shape our future based on the confine of our memories from bygones rather than on our full awareness of the present. The dualistic mind is the filter that prevents us from being at inner peace, since it habitually causes us to cling onto arising thoughts. As we grasp onto arising awareness, we become emotionally bound to the outer world. Rather than responding to the outer circumstances using objective clarity, our clinging thoughts propel us to react based on past conditioning. As the circumstances arise and depart, they activate our memories and engage our mind's filter and bias. Our thought flow diverts from the present moment. As the mind wanders away from the present moment, thoughts begin to cascade and deviate from the original triggering thought. We live within our version of reality, rather than fully experiencing the actuality currently unfolding around us. Whether our nostalgia or recollections are positive or negative, our attention shifts away from the present moment. In the now, past impressions color our judgment and influence our response. Our past habitual tendencies and conditioning continue to shape our future. To live in the present, we must experience each moment as it truly is. We must recognize the mind's tendency for subjectivity and bias as shaped by the past. The mind's dualistic state is the filter that hinders us from experiencing the here and now. Fully living in the present is about acknowledging our memories and impressions, yet not be influenced by the nostalgia nor aversions based on the recollections. The life events that shape our impression of the outer circumstances are the karmic fruits from our past. We cannot escape our own doings, and yet we can continue to completely be in the present. To be present, we neither let the past karmic circumstances nor the emerging karmic circumstances influence the here and now. Each moment is experienced independently from both the past and the future. We do not cling to any one arising thought. Being in the present is not achieved through cutting off the thought flow, nor through seizing the streaming awareness. The present can only be wholly acknowledged when we have the complete vision of both ourselves and the world around us. Our awareness becomes limitless as the mind is no longer confined by duality. One thought flows seamlessly into the next thought, uninterrupted by the mind's tendency to weave its own narrative into the outer event. Our awareness naturally come and go as we face the changing outer circumstances. We continue our daily life adaptably with unclouded clarity and insight. Each arising moment is an objective present, here and now, unaffected by the departed past and undistracted by the arising future. At last, all the life moments are experienced with full accuracy by the immaculate, non-dualistic mind. We hope that you'd enjoy this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and visit us at ZenEnergyZen.org. That's ZenEnergyZen.org. ZenEnergy Organization is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our mission is to help others transcend sufferings and be at inner peace. Your financial support is fully tax-deductible with the IRS and makes it possible for our work to be offered as widely as possible. We each have the potentiality to transcend the mundane and make a positive difference in the lives of others. Thank you for joining us today, and see you in the next episode.